In this video, I'm going to remove virtually every shred of hoof horn from the sole of this cow's foot. So this cow was exceptionally lame, and very early on in this trim you'll see a huge telltale sign of what the problem is. That's right, that little black dot of death. It's a telltale sign that her whole corium is infected and there's an abscess lurking beneath. And if I brush this interdigital skin, you can see it weeping. But when we slice through it with a knife, everything becomes much more obvious. The inflammation within this hoof capsule will be excruciating for this cow, which is why she is so lame. I'm going to go ahead with the knife and the grinder to remove as much of this overburdening and detached hoof horn as I need to in order to set her on the road to recovery. This black dot is often an indicator that there is a pocket of pressurised pus lurking beneath. And on this occasion, that is exactly the case. I now know that the entire solar region has been compromised and what I need to do about it. Although I know there's a cavity hidden beneath this hoof horn, I don't know how deep in it is, I don't know exactly where the corium is, and therefore I need to go carefully. Once I've found that point with the knife, I then know how far in I can work with the grinder, and I use that to speed up this process to have the cow in the crush for as little time as possible. I can be very neat, very careful, and very delicate with this grinder, but it does remove large amounts of material at any one time, and it diminishes my visibility of the problem, which is why when we need to do finer details, we always return to the knife. I use the hook at the end of the blade of my knife and cut in circular motions so that I'm pulling the hoof horn away from the corium beneath. I need to make sure I don't insult or cut into that corium at all costs, although admittedly it's not always possible. Take notice at how I place the hook of my knife in tight against the corium, the layer I don't want to cut into, and then peel around and away from that area. I clean this cavity out constantly throughout this trim because accuracy is absolutely crucial, and with any remnants of broken hoof horn or dirt in there, I can't place my knife as precisely as I need to. My knife and grinder work in partnership, swapping where appropriate, always trying to minimise the time that this cow is in the crush, but equally trying to make sure we do as precise a job as possible. The hole we can see down towards her toe is in zone 2. We have special zoned areas all throughout a cow's foot so that we know what we're referring to, and now we've moved back up the foot towards zone 3. As you can see, we're stripping away the layers of hoof horn which are enveloping this problem. When we first picked up this hoof, it didn't look like an open lesion, but looks can be deceiving. Remember we brushed the back of the knife against the part that was seeping on the interdigital skin? Well, it wouldn't have been seeping if it wasn't open. The opening that was allowing the seepage through was allowing dirt, bacteria and debris into the problem and exacerbating or making it even worse. As you can see, blood is seeping from the lesion. That's because this is digital dermatitis. It is an open lesion. It is tissue that is being attacked constantly by spirochetes, the bacteria that form digital dermatitis lesions. And this will be our main battle against lameness for this particular cow. I'm going to continue stripping away this overburdening hoof horn, and I'm going to reduce the heel height and the overall size of this hoof as much as possible to alleviate this side of the cow's hoof from problematic pressures when she walks. In other words, I'm going to get as much weight off this foot as I possibly can, whilst removing every little shred of hoof horn that isn't fully attached. It's early February, and it's really cold and wet and damp here in southwest Scotland, but these cows are housed in a nice dry shed, which is why these hoofs are so hard. There is still detached hoof horn here, clinging to the corium, and I'll endeavour to remove every last shred of it. If I don't, I know I'll return to a cow's hoof which hasn't healed correctly. This trim is shaping up really nicely. We need to flatten and clean off this medial or inside claw so that we can attach a block that won't fall off. We still need to shorten this toe slightly so that it's back to the correct length. And then we need to douse the whole of this open lesion with iodine to kill the outer layers of tissue and allow new fresh hoof horn to grow in its place. I splashed iodine on that inside claw, but it won't matter, because this blowtorch will completely dry it, and then BoviBond will work its magic by making sure this wooden block stays in place for as long as it needs to. Salicylic acid is the order of the day for this little cow's hoof, and it will work in partnership with the iodine to make sure that new fresh hoof horn can grow unimpinged and unhindered from the nastiness of digital dermatitis trying to consume the newly growing hoof horn. As you can see, she is not all that comfortable, but believe you me, she will be very soon. Thanks for watching this little cow and the Hoof GP.